Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Steuben County, where health officials are adopting a new strategy to track COVID-19 cases in schools. Under new protocols, students who are exposed to COVID-19 can forego a 10-day quarantine and go to school so long as they test negative. Matt Kleindienst spoke with the county health department and breaks down the new Test to Stay protocol.
Good evening, Jennifer. Steuben County is allowing students to test every day to remain in school if they've been exposed to the virus. This plan has drawn keen interest from school administrators who worry about kids missing too many days of school.
Hundreds, probably thousands of students have lost precious academic time due to quarantine.
Steuben County is shifting gears when it comes to addressing COVID cases in school. After getting guidance from the New York DOH, the county is allowing school districts to implement test-to-stay protocols for students exposed to the virus.
So as long as those individuals don't have any symptoms at all, they can opt to come back to school.
Under this system, students would come to school and get a rapid test in the morning and would only be allowed to go to class if they test negative. Despite being allowed to go to school, students who are exposed to the virus are still considered under quarantine. That means no extracurricular activities or social gatherings for students in or out of school.
The individual is still in quarantine, but allowed to go to school only in order to increase the amount of time of in-person learning.
Darlene Smith says school districts are able to opt in or out of implementing the test-to-stay protocols. She expects school districts to proceed with the protocols in the near future. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
About 28 million young children are now eligible for a COVID-19 shot after the CDC greenlit Pfizer's vaccine. But some parents say they're still hesitant to get their children vaccinated. Lillian Wu has more.
A welcome relief for many parents across the country. Starting today, children as young as 5 years old can get vaccinated against COVID-19.
I'm just hopeful for next year being a more normal year.
The CDC formally endorsing Pfizer's formula for younger children yesterday. The agency says vaccinating this age group could prevent about 600,000 cases from November to next March.
We have parents who can have the peace of mind that when they get their kids vaccinated, they will be protected.
The two doses are given 3 weeks apart and contain about a third of the dosage given to adults. Millions of shots have already shipped out to pharmacies and doctors' offices, but some parents remain skeptical of the vaccine's safety. Health experts recommend hesitant parents talk to a physician they trust.
And we can work collaboratively with our parents to try and come up with the best time frame for when they want to vaccinate their children.
Pfizer says it expects to have initial trial results for kids as young as 2 by the end of this year and children as young as 6 months in the beginning of 2022. But with the holiday travel season approaching, public health officials say vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds will be key to preventing another spike in infections.
We've got a trip planned soon, and we'll feel better about our trip and traveling freely once we get our kids vaccinated.
As for Moderna, the FDA says it will need more time to review its vaccine data for children as young as 12. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
The newly elected Manhattan District Attorney is making history. Democrat Alvin Bragg is the first black man in the role. He's just the 4th Manhattan District Attorney elected in the last 80 years. Bragg defeated Republican Thomas Kenneth in the election Tuesday night.
We have been giving a profound trust tonight. To whom much is given, much is required. And we've heard Mark talk about it. We've heard Brian talk about it. The fundamental role of the district attorney is to guarantee both fairness and safety. That is the trust that's been given to me on the ballot, but given to all of us. That's what we've worked for, to show the city and the country a model for pairing partnership, pairing fairness and safety into one.
Bragg says his most important issues are gun violence and decarcerating Rikers Island. A big night for Republicans, flipping a state where President Biden won big just a year ago. But what does it mean for the Democratic Party and the president's agenda? Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
Virginia's governor's mansion will go red for the first time since 2009.
All righty, Virginia, we won this thing!
Glenn Youngkin defeating former Governor Terry McAuliffe. The red wave in Virginia, a major upset for the Democratic Party, where just last year, President Biden won by 10 points.
We went to the voters, knocked on doors, and had little conversations with people about the issues.
In New Jersey, where President Biden won by 15 points, the gubernatorial race far closer than expected, with votes still being counted Wednesday. Republicans say this shows they've found the campaign recipe to flip the House and Senate in next year's midterms.
The woke agenda, thank the Lord, is dead.
And some are pointing to President Biden's sinking approval ratings and in-party fighting for the poor Democratic results.
I think this is a wake-up call for all of us that people want results.
But results in the form of two large bills, one on infrastructure and another on social issues, has eluded Democrats. Wednesday begins the finger-pointing on whether to quickly pass the bills or abandon the president's agenda altogether.
The only path forward is to deliver these two bills to President Biden's desk. We do that, and the 22 electorate will look very different.
The White House hopes the election results will light a fire for lawmakers to pass bills. Meanwhile, Republicans are now targeting 70 Democratic House seats to flip. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
The city of Hornell has now been placed in a boil water advisory. According to city officials, the advisory is due to a mechanical failure at the Hornell water filtration plant. Residents are asked to use boiled or bottled water for drinking, making ice, brushing your teeth, and cooking until further notice. The William Matter Law Office kicked off its annual Rescue a Shelter Animal campaign. The campaign encourages residents to adopt rescue pets and donate to local shelters. The campaign includes a pet photo contest with the chance to win a donation to an animal shelter of your choosing. Photo submissions are due by November 15th, and the winner will be decided by November 30th. The big speeches are over, and now the hard work begins at the international conference aimed at curbing climate change. Steve Bender is following the story from Edinburgh, Scotland.
The single most important thing that's gotten the attention of the world is climate.
President Biden left on Tuesday, but the COP26 meeting is still in session in Glasgow, with world leaders focusing today on how wealthy countries and the private sector can help the developing world fight climate change.
We're on the cusp of a new era, where rich countries put more money on the table to support developing countries.
But it won't be easy. The participants failed to meet their goal of raising $100 billion a year to finance clean energy projects in developing countries by this year. But it's now expected to happen by 2023. Though Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen did announce support for a new initiative called the Climate Investment Fund's Capital Markets Mechanism, which will see the U.S. donating about $500 million a year to help companies go green and replace fossil fuels like coal with renewable energy.
We must all do more, and the United States is stepping up. We're quadrupling our international climate finance for developing countries by 2024.
But it's still not clear if big polluters like China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia will come to the table. None of those countries' leaders showed up to this conference, prompting sharp criticism from President Biden and a tense reply from Beijing, referencing President Trump's withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord.
We hope the U.S. will make good on its commitment on financing rather than changing its policies frequently.
Almost 200 countries are represented here at the conference, which is set to wrap up on November 12th. I'm Steve Bender in Edinburgh, Fox Weather.
China's nuclear weapons program has prompted a rare warning from Pentagon officials about the balance of power among world militaries. Lucas Tomlinson has more from the Pentagon.
Faster and bigger, a new Pentagon report shows China growing its nuclear warhead stockpile at an alarming rate, with more than 1,000 warheads expected to be deployed by the end of the decade. That's a big change from last year's report, when analysts predicted at least 400 Chinese nukes by 2030.
Really, it's most concerning because it's part of a massive military buildup, huge buildup of the Navy, Air Force, rocket force, and nuclear forces.
The Pentagon says China is able to build its stockpile because of increased plutonium production and the construction of hundreds of new silos, while the U.S. is limited to 1,500 warheads by international treaties. There are no arms control agreements between Beijing and any other country. The report followed an announcement from China that it had completed a successful test of a hypersonic missile, a space-based next-generation weapon capable of carrying nukes that could be virtually unstoppable after launch. The test was not covered in the new report, but it rattled Pentagon officials, which is developing its own hypersonic weapons program.
It's in the budget. You can read it for yourself. Our own pursuit of hypersonic capabilities is real.
Meanwhile, as Beijing builds up its military, it's also insisting it's not looking for a fight.
To maintain peace, security, and stability in South Asia is in the common interest of all sides.
The report also says that China is building up its chemical and biological weapons programs and beefing up its navy. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Day 2 of the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial in Wisconsin. Prosecutors played video captured the night last summer in Kenosha when Rittenhouse shot 3 people, killing 2 during police brutality protests that turned violent. One of the videos shows the 18-year-old running and carrying a fire extinguisher. Another picks up the shots that he fired. Defense attorneys have maintained that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. If convicted, he could face life in prison. Still ahead tonight, more big changes coming to Facebook.
You can't just leave the dirty stuff aside or sweep it under the rug or put it to one end and say you're just going to focus on the good stuff.
Why the social media giant is now shutting down a tool that has been offered to users for nearly a decade.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Your Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. A cold day today. Yesterday was chilly, but today was even colder. Temperatures around 4 degrees cooler in Corning, about 6 degrees cooler in Elmira. But there are some places, like in Hornell, where temperatures were actually a little bit warmer. It is going to get downright cold tonight. In fact, we'll drop below freezing. Readings will be in the 30s for the next couple of hours, and then early tomorrow morning, we're going to see those temperatures really drop down into the 20s. It will be a frigid start to the day tomorrow, but in the afternoon, we are expecting some sunshine. It will remain chilly with temperature readings about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than normal, and that's going to be the case through the weekend, but we are expecting a stretch of sunny weather, and that will last through early next week. So it is going to start to feel a little bit better once that sunshine comes out. So it is going to be chilly tomorrow. The jet stream has dug to our south into the mid-Atlantic, and that's allowing for this chilly air to drain southward, and that includes our area. And so there will be a few spotty flakes here and there throughout the day. It will be a cloudy day, and that's not going to really help to heat things up. In fact, it will just limit all that heating, and so that's why it's going to be so chilly on your Thursday. Again, we're going to start off in the 20s. 30 degrees by 8 o'clock, 38 by 10. By lunchtime, I think we could reach the low to mid 40s, and then upper 40s will be possible in the afternoon. Clouds will be off and on during the day. In the evening hours or early evening, we're already down to around 39 degrees, so it is going to be quite a chilly day on Thursday. Our future radar is showing just a few spotty showers or possibly a flake or two that will be flying around as we head into your Thursday. I'm not expecting any accumulations for our hometown, but again, we are expecting the possibility of just 1 or 2 flakes across our area, but then drier conditions for the weekend. In fact, it will stay pretty cold through Friday and Saturday as high pressure starts to build in again, but we are expecting milder conditions to return by early next week. So at least there will be a warming trend for the end of the week and into next week. Tonight, though, below freezing temperatures, 28 degrees in Elmira and 29 degrees in Corning, 31 degrees in Watkins Glen. Tomorrow, highs around 46 in Corning, 45, or I should say 44 in Bath, and 47 degrees in Elmira. We are expecting that warming trend through the weekend. In fact, it will be closer to normal on Saturday and Sunday with lots of sunshine. Overnight lows, though, will stay below freezing until early next week. We could climb to around 60 degrees by Tuesday with overnight lows in the 40s.
Engineers at the University of Arizona have developed a new device that can detect diseases, test new drugs, and track personal health. It's unlike any smartwatch currently on the market. Bailey Miller reports.
This is a biosymbiotic device. It's custom made and 3D printed based on a body scan to fit the specific person wearing it.
You basically forget that it's there. And that's kind of the goal, right? We want to have a device that's almost invisible to the wearer, but delivers us the really high quality information that we need.
This all started when engineers at the University of Arizona set out to create a device more reliable than a smartwatch to monitor health metrics. Smartwatches need to be charged and can only measure a limited amount. The creators say their device is more sensitive and precise.
We can pick that up in a thermal signature. We can also record, for example, muscle deformations. We have the capability to extract fluid from your skin when you're sweating and analyze that.
The technology is powered by wireless power transfer and compact energy storage, meaning the person wearing it doesn't even need to plug it in. With it, they can measure the onset of frailty in older adults, deadly disease, and track the performance of elite athletes.
We would really like to see devices like this becoming the norm for diagnoses and for treatment management.
All this with the goal to have these metrics appear on an app on your smartphone, making healthcare unique to each person, accessible for all.
A new study says children's time in front of electronic screens grew during the pandemic. Researchers say children are spending an average of 7.7 hours a day in front of screens, and that time does not include doing schoolwork. Researchers compiling the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Study took data from more than 5,400 adolescents aged 10 to 14. Child experts say the effect of that much time are seen in behaviors such as social skills difficulties, social anxiety, and fear of social interaction. A pediatrician says effects of high screen time include tired eyes, headaches, and weight gain. Uber is riding on its new effort to supply essential baby supplies. The California-based ride-sharing company announced customers can now order baby items right from its Uber Eats app. The new Baby and Kids Hub will allow customers to order everything from food and diapers to other essentials directly from child care supply stores. Retail chain Bye Bye Baby and popular baby brands The Honest Company and Little Spoon are on board. Pharmacies and convenience stores are also partners in the Baby Hub, including Walgreens, Rite Aid, and Duane Reade. Tesla is recalling nearly 12,000 vehicles sold in the United States due to a software communications error. The issue may cause a false forward collision warning or an unexpected activation of the car's automatic emergency braking. The recall impacts models S, X, 3, and Y vehicles sold since 2017. Affected owners will be notified by mail next month. The recall comes after National Highway Traffic Safety Administration regulators asked why the company didn't recall vehicles when it sent a software update in late September to fix a problem with its autopilot system. You might want to learn your shoe size in pixels. Nike filed trademark applications last week indicating it wants to sell digital versions of its sneakers, clothing, and other goods in virtual worlds and video games. The trademarks will also protect the company from virtual knockoffs. The filings only indicate an intent to pursue the virtual world. Nike could still decide not to follow through. Facebook continues to come under fire. The social media company announced new changes after critics say a software program for identifying users online compromised privacy. Gary Baumgarten reports.
More big changes coming to Facebook. The social media giant says it will stop using its facial recognition software, a tool allowing the company to recognize a person's identity from content uploaded to Facebook. Critics say technology like this can compromise people's privacy. Facebook says it will delete the facial data it's gathered from more than 1 billion people.
It is time for us to adopt a new company brand to encompass everything that we do.
Meanwhile, although the name of the social media site remains Facebook, the Facebook Corporation is now called Meta, as officials shift their focus to developing a virtual reality platform. But critics say the name change is a distraction from whistleblower Frances Haugen's allegations The company's algorithms harm children and promote hate.
You can't just leave the dirty stuff aside or sweep it under the rug or put it to one end and say you're just going to focus on the good stuff.
Haugen has since called on Mark Zuckerberg to resign from his role as CEO during a web summit in Portugal on Monday. But Meta officials at that same summit say that they've been hard at work addressing some of Haugen's concerns.
I think that this will accelerate more transparency, including over algorithms, more research, including about kids online, and more regulation.
Meta officials also say Facebook has been investing in content moderation in more countries to prevent negative content from circulating.
Well, it's about time to turn those clocks because daylight saving time is almost over. So plan to fall back early Sunday morning. The change in time will give you an extra hour of sleep, but it also adds extra confusion for some people. Every state except Hawaii and Arizona will set their clocks back 1 hour earlier. But every year, more and more states are worried the change does more harm than good. According to experts, daylight saving time is an indirect cause of car accidents and health problems related to lack of sleep. The rush to get pets while people were under coronavirus lockdowns is now slowing around the country. Pet shelters are now seeing declines in adoptions and fostering, though compared to last year, adoptions are up overall. Pet fostering of particular animals, such as big dogs, is hitting a lull because it's often hard to mix big dogs with other animals. One dog behaviorist says adoption rates are down because there aren't as many animals in shelters as in the past, and pet owners sometimes return the animals because they didn't understand costs involved with adoption. An action-packed trailer, a streamer's new venture, and the American Music Awards announced this year's host. Ashley Dvorkin has all of this in the Hollywood Nation.
Cardi B runs the show, Netflix goes gaming, and marvel at Leto's latest role in the Hollywood Nation. Fans get a new look at Jared Leto as Morbius, a character who breaks the line between hero and villain. Leto leads as Dr. Michael Morbius as he finds his self-treatment for a rare blood disorder unleashes a dark, powerful alter ego. The trailer has Easter egg seekers already analyzing Spider-Man and Venom references.
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
They'll get all the answers when the action thriller is in theaters this January.
And showtime.
Netflix Games just launched. Noting it's in the early days of creating the experience, the streamer announced the venture with 5 mobile games, including Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3: The Game. A Netflix subscription is the all-access pass. Games are available on Android devices when users log into their profile. Rapper Cardi B is ready to party at the American Music Awards. The 5-time AMA winner has performed on the show in the past and will make her debut as host of the show this year. The fan-voted 2021 American Music Awards airs live from LA Sunday, November 21st on ABC. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Want to take your Thanksgiving dinner for an outdoor stroll and a few licks? An Oregon-based company will help you cram it all on an ice cream cone. Portland's Salt and Straw Ice Cream Company, which has done quirky, creamy treats like sheep's milk cheese ice cream and smoked ham soft serve, rolls out a Thanksgiving dinner as ice cream for the 9th straight year. Flavors include caramelized turkey and cranberry sauce, candied walnut cheesecake, sweet potato pie with double-baked almond streusel, and pumpkin and ginger snap pie. The Friendsgiving series can be purchased for $65 on the Salt and Straw website for shipping nationwide. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.